the flag, please. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have a moment of silent prayer. Amen.
Amen.
This evening, it is the 22nd, Tuesday the 22nd, 5:30 in the evening at the Municipal Center. Can I have the roll call, please?
Scott Markey,
Here.
Rick Weber is absent. Greg Forney is absent. Rose Jackson. Here. Elizabeth Skinner is absent. Chris Chapman.
Here.
And Susan Webster is here. We do have a quorum.
All right, can we review the minutes from the last meeting of November 1st? And I'll take any additions or corrections and common consent. I wasn't here at the last meeting, so I don't know exactly. So,
Mayor Murphy, do you take additions from the audience?
do what?
Do you take additions from folks here?
Not normally, no. It's what happened at council.
Right. I'd like something added to the record if it is not part of the record for last meeting.
Well, why don't we add it to this record?
Yeah.
When you're,
We'll have to add it to this
Okay.
one. You can make that noted in this evening.
Good me.
Rose, look okay to you? Or you?
Yeah,
Okay.
sorry.
All right, common consent. All right, this is how this is gonna work tonight. There are a lot of people here. We'll bring everybody forward in the beginning of the meeting. Have 3 minutes. Sharon is going to be timing 3 minutes. You have 3 minutes to make your statement. After 3 minutes, it's done and over with. We're not gonna argue. We're not gonna carry on. It's 2 days before Thanksgiving. And I want to enjoy my Thanksgiving coming up, and we don't need a bunch of bickering and fighting. We can solve this as peacefully and as being, adults. I'm not going to argue. I've looked at a few things here. Some stuff's going to have to go back to TBS. We're not involved in it right now. I would suggest to TBS that they look at maybe redesigning their logo to possibly include West Virginia colors. Our colors that are from West Virginia incorporated into the logo. I know this is probably some of what people were here about tonight. Like I said, we're going to have 3 minutes, and we're going to bring everybody forward and get it all done. And once it's done and it's out of here, I won't hear another thing about it. Go back to TBS. You can argue with whoever you want to argue with, but once it's done, it's done. Okay. So anyway, Dave Abruzzi, he's on for the Town Bath Historical District, and he has the floor for 3 minutes.
Do I really need to go by 3 minutes? Because I'm not part of whatever this is. My topic has nothing to do with what you just talked about. I have a prepared statement I'd like to read, and I'm out of here. That's all I'd like to do.
Okay, go ahead and read it.
Thank you.
That'll be fine.
Good evening. I appreciate the opportunity to address this meeting. I think most of you already know who I am. I recently started a small, better-known business called Capeman Preservation Solutions, focused on historic preservation, but I'm not here this evening looking for work. I'm here tonight because I represent a group of stakeholders comprised of town residents, property owners, and business owners who believe in historic preservation. And because in the past, the town council has fallen short as a certified local government to protect and preserve the town of Bath Historic District. I have recently looked at the various historical surveys for the town of Bath and was discouraged at what I discovered. Here's a brief summary. Following the original survey in 2006, 3 contributing structures were lost, even before the nomination for the historic district was completed in 2009. In addition to those 3 losses, since 2014, the historic district has lost 3 more from fire and 4 more by demolition. Currently, there are at least 5 more contributing structures that will most likely come off the list due to exterior modifications. This means the town of Bath Historic District will have lost a total of 15 contributing structures since the first survey was done in 2006, and 12 of 218 contributing structures in the past 8 years, in 5 of those structures in the past year. On behalf of those stakeholders who are my clients as well as your constituents, I'm here to work with you, the various committees and the Historic Landmark Commission, to meet the requirements to protect and preserve the Town of Bath Historic District for the benefit of current and future generations. As such, I believe it is important to take a few minutes to share some information from the National Park Service, who administers the Certified Local Government Program, as well as information from a briefing provided by a representative of the State Historic Preservation Office to the Historic Landmark Commission on 27 October. This will ensure everyone is starting with the same information. For the National Park Service, the Certified Local Government Program is a commitment to saving the past for future generations. Through the certification process, local communities make a commitment to national historic preservation standards. This commitment is key to America's ability to protect, preserve, and increase awareness of our unique cultural heritage found across the country. Here's one key requirement for a certified local government from the National Park Service website. Quote, certified local governments are all required to make a written legal commitment to protect and designate a community's irreplaceable historic properties in accordance with state and local laws. As such, I request a copy of the official Town of Bath document that shows a written legal commitment when it comes to protecting irreplaceable historic properties as it pertains to the Town of Bath Historic District. Here's some information from the briefing provided by SHPO on 27 October 2022. 1. Certified local government is the result of a certification process which includes a local ordinance and is a partnership between local, state, and federal governments, which the Town of Bath has met. 2. With a certified local government, local communities make a commitment to national historic preservation standards and applying them equally to all historic resources in their communities. Unfortunately, all I've heard for months is an interest in having the HLC involved in the train depot, which I must note is the most protected property, both exterior and interior in the county, given the use of federal funds. It's not too much a stretch to say the town would most likely need federal approval to even change out a doorknob. 3, certified local government focuses on preserving, protecting, identifying, and increasing awareness of cultural heritage. Here the town is falling short given the number of contributing structures lost. And 4, the certified local government facilitates public participation in historic preservation, which I must note the town council in May 2021 voted 4-2 against allowing public participation. Finally, I'll take a few minutes to address Ms. Webster's comments. This is where I would like entered in the record. I'll leave a copy.
No, we're not going. That's already been entered. No, we're not going there.
Okay,
Absolutely
let me
not.
just,
Absolutely not.
we are not
Yeah.
really interested in applications of restrictions on properties. We found that to be not well taken. First, historic preservation is about protecting historic properties for current and future generations. It is not about restrictions. Restrictions is a loaded term typically used negatively by someone who is against zoning. Second, the fact that I'm standing here tonight means a substantial number of town stakeholders are in fact interested in protecting historic properties that make up the Town of Bath Historic District. Even back in 2021, there were 25 business owners who signed on and asked for the process to go forward. That was out of 30 I met with. That's 83% who supported the process. And as for not well taken, I'm assuming Ms. Webster's is referring to the moderated town hall meeting I spoke at back in May 2021. At that meeting, 26 people spoke, but of those 26, only 6 would have owned property within the notional boundaries and been able to vote on whether or not to implement reasonable protections. And of those 6, only 4 who spoke owned contributing structures. 2 spoke against the process and 2 spoke for it. I also was recently on the Morgan County Historical Society Facebook page. It was a long string of posts lamenting the number of historic buildings that have been demolished in town and asking what could have been done to prevent it. Here again, it goes to show the residents of the Town of Bath care about their history and want to see something done to preserve it. In conclusion, I want to reiterate, a CLG is legally required to support and champion historic preservation efforts to include protections. So the 4-2 vote last year to not support the HLC efforts to allow property owners their legal right to determine the issue for themselves, coupled with Ms. Webster's comments at the last meeting, is a pretty good indication the town government has not met the requirement of the CLG by making a commitment to national historic preservation standards, which is key to preserving, protecting, and increasing awareness of our cultural heritage.
One thing you need to change is structures that are burnt down. Because number one, people aren't going to repair a structure that's a total loss. And so enough, it's enough. That is totally uncalled for, and it needs to be taken off. The fact that it might have been contributing structure, but I'm sorry, it caught fire, and if the insurance company deems it a total loss, then it needs to come down.
Mayor, my point is buildings are lost. We can't, you're right, we cannot do anything about those, but we can protect the ones that are being exteriorly modified to the point where they're no longer going to be contributing. I agree with you 100%. You can't, the truck that ran into the building at the end of town, that was demolished. That, I understand that. But there's still a large number of buildings that are being demolished and changed that could be stopped. And that's my point. I agree with you 100% that fires happen, things happen.
Right.
It just goes to the fact you can't control a lot of what happens. And I agree with you 100%. We are on the same page.
And like I said, I mean, that, I'm all for trying to keep as many structures as we can, but there, we've got to figure out how to come up with a plan to do it. And I am not against it. We've got an HLC now, and they are working on what they need to be working on. And we will be moving forward with trying to preserve structures that need to be preserved. But we're not going to do certificates of appropriateness. Our lawyer has already advised us against that. That was 2 or 3 years ago that was advised against. But I am willing, with the new HLC in place, they will be looking at that, and we will be working on what we can do.
I didn't mention COAs, just for the record.
Right.
There was nowhere in here.
Right.
But there's a lot that can be done between where we are today and COAs. There's a breadth of stuff that
Right.
protections
I'm
that
just
can be put
saying
in
that's
place.
part of what was wanted back 2 years ago.
But sir, that's a
So-
vote for the town residents to make, and they were denied that
Right.
right to
They were
vote.
not denied
The
any rights.
council has the right.
Yeah, we control this town. We are the governing body of this town. And the HLC is now working on what needs to be done. We need to all get on board. I agree with you that there's contributing structures that we need to preserve, we need to work on. But, we've got to come up with a way to do it that we don't infringe on people's rights as owning their structures. I'm not going to have people coming in telling them what they can paint, what kind of windows they can put in it. I'm not doing that. I'm just not doing that. And I guarantee you 90% of the people in this community would agree with me. They do not want to be told how they maintain their property that they paid for and bought. They're the ones that pay the payments. You're not. I mean, if you're paying, I have no problem. But what I'm saying is there are people in this community that have bought houses, they live here, and they're not going to put a certain window in that we require. No, we're not going there. So you have my commitment as the mayor right now that we will do everything we can to preserve structures in this community to the point where we can keep them as a contributing structure to our community.
Sir, I just need to point out, certified local government support and champion historic preservation and protection. That is where I think this town has fallen short since 2016 when I came here.
I don't think so.
Meriden,
Not a
Dresden was just
Not a-
here and
I don't want to hijack the meeting. I'm sorry.
Right.
I made my statement. I will leave
That's
this. I'll
fine.
provide a copy. to-
Yeah,
to
leave
share
a
it.
copy so that we've got a copy
A
of it.
PDF, so you guys have a copy of it. So
Sounds good. Thank you.
I'll PDF it.
Yeah, just give it to Sharon.
Thank you very much.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
Yeah,
guess
well-
he doesn't want.
Why are
he's
you
not
leaving?
supposed to hear. Yeah.
Are you afraid for us to respond?
I mean, we need to, once this is.
All right, no.
I'll stay.
We're not going to go into the arguments. Okay? I understand there's a situation going on. I understand that. And I'm going to let people talk. Like I said, now we're going to do the 3 minute. You got 3 minutes to make your statement. If it gets out of control, I'm going to stop it. I'm going to ask the people to leave. Okay? I am too old to have this bickering and fighting. It's ridiculous. So what we're going to do is I'm going to start up here at the front, and I'm going to go right on around and let whoever wants to stand up and speak. I would appreciate you speaking your name, so it can go into our record, and we'll go from there. Do you want to speak on anything this evening?
No, I just, all I'll say is, I did get a visit from Mr. Abruzzi. He was not, there were no threatening emails. I just want to fact check that. but I did put new windows in my house, and they finished today. And I put them in because I was air conditioning and heating the whole neighborhood with very energy inefficient windows. That choice likely might exempt me from historic preservation, but it is my choice. And it's the choice I wanted to make. I told Mr. Abruzzi I would be keeping the rest of my property intact and historically maintaining the integrity of it, but I drew the line at the windows and doors. I have all new windows and doors.
Can you give us your name?
Mary Lynn Hickey, 165 Fairfax.
Thank you.
Thank you. You guys fine? Okay, Charlie?
Okay. This has to do with the character of Mr. Abruzzi. I gave you a letter that Mr. Abruzzi wrote that's full of lies and disparaging comments that he emailed and postal mailed out to over 30 of our artisans out of the shop. They're lies. I don't know who told him the lies, but he was not at that meeting that he quotes in there. And, in my opinion, Mr. Abruzzi's not only a shame to this town, to this county, to this state, and to the United States of America. And we need to do something to stop people like him from sending these letters out. The second page is the actual transcript of what went on at that meeting, at that TBS meeting. What I was trying to just make a point that people look at symbols in a totally different manner. And we just need to look at that. I was in no way advocating. In fact, recently, a week and a half ago, the Fairfax Coffee House brought the hate group of all hate groups here to the city, the Southern Poverty Legal Center. I had the opportunity to talk to the guy that they brought here. He was telling me his wife is from Egypt. So when we were talking about the swastika, and I said, so you know that you can walk into any jewelry or gift store in Egypt and pick out things with the swastika symbol on it. And he agreed, yes. That symbol is used all over the world as a symbol of love, good fortune, honor. Even the American natives use that symbol. And that's all I was trying to make that point at this TBS meeting about their new logo. So I don't know what I'm going to do, but there's federal charges that are going to be pending against him for using the post office and possibly civil charges. I hope
Okay.
whoever gave him the lies is willing to help him pay his legal fees.
That's good. Like I said, TBS is going to have to go back and revisit. I think the logo that they are working or coming up with, I would like to see a better logo than, what I've kind of, we got a good logo already, but I would also like to see some type of West Virginia colors incorporated into it somewhere along the line. This is West Virginia. We're proud. So, like I said, I think that needs to go back and be revisited.
Bring the mountains for a reason.
And we'll go from there. All right. All right, next.
Yes, on that subject, my name's Sue Evans. We have a petition going around town. There's one available at the Lighthouse Latte. There's one available at Roy's, and there's one available at the Mountain Laurel. And it just states that to keep the benefits of diversity, equity, and inclusion, there should not be any one symbol representing this town. If they pick anything, it should represent everyone equally. If you put the welcome mat out for one group, one particular group, you are excluding everybody else. So if you're interested in keeping that kind of discrimination out of our community, sign the petition.
Greg Sheen, Claire Sheen, 175 Wilk Street. David, the property that you seem to attack us, not personally but indirectly, was essentially a tear down property. Not only did it have fire damage, water damage, mold damage, structural damage,
And bugs.
insects, rats. If you aren't a stakeholder, you don't begin to understand the financial commitment we made to the town and to the property of $500,000. and yet we maintained as much of the property as humanly possible. There was a remodel done to that property in 1950 that removed the original windows, all the original woodwork, anything that was original to the property. So I don't know how you have the expectation that somehow that house could be saved. It should have been pushed over. That would have been the intelligent and financial thing to do, that property. Yet you're willing to, again, point this property out to us, and our only goal is to make Berkeley Springs, a better community. And I'm not quite sure what your motivations are and what your why is. Why you're here, why you're doing this. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
Especially when you live over the other side of the mountain
Yeah,
and you haven't put a penny here, or I don't even see you communicating, you don't even participate in community activities here. I never see you picking up trash. I don't see you down here helping us.
okay. I thought this, Montana Semper Libere. You know what that expression is? Mountaineers are always free. It's right on the flag, right here.
My only
No.
comment is, you certified low cost trip, so I get to respond or not? Okay?
All right. You fine?
We're together.
Larry? You have anything? Nothing until we get to the town planning commission. I'll provide an update.
I'll say something. Brandon Mokoff, 44 Radio Station Lane. You all know me. I'm not necessarily in town, but I am in town the majority of the time. Okay, so with the whole historical landmark situation, you want to preserve history, but history might not just be the rocks and the windows and the foundation of the building itself. It's the stories that go with it. So if somebody rebuilds a house or just remodels it so it's still standing, those stories are still there. That history is still there. There's other things to attack in this town than just people fixing up things and doing their God-given right to do whatever they please, because that's why we want all the wars we had in history. And that's why we're all here today, because we worked for what we got and we have that right.
Thank you. Well done.
You have anything?
Joyce Jones, member of the HLC committee, and just one point of record. I know Mr. Bruzy keeps making these innuendos that we are not a CLG, we're out of compliance. We had a face-to-face meeting with our state representative. She says we are golden. She's one of our best CLGs. So I just wanted to make that clarification.
Thank you. Barb?
I didn't even know this was going to be happening today, but as long as I'm here, I do want to say something. I'm Barb Wolf. I happened to be sitting next to Charlie at the TBS meeting when this whole distinguishing or trying to do away with the sticker that we used to have, and we were presented with this new sticker. And I asked the question about, why are we getting rid of the one we had that said all are welcome? It was multiple colors, and we were just told that this is the new one and this is the way it's going to be. And we couldn't get the old one, is what I was told. Well, I can get the old one, and I am going to get the old one, and I will have them in my shop. If anybody wants them, they will be free. I'll get as many as I can to hand them out. And David, I'm really disappointed in you. And I was always a supporter of the work that you did with the original HLC and the work you did with Jeannie. But writing to his vendors was totally out of line. And if you had done that to my vendors, I'd come after you also. You had no right to do that. You weren't at the meeting, and I don't know who gave you the information, but whoever gave you the information, it's wrong.
It came from multiple sources.
Well,
Not
they're
going
all
to-
wrong.
Name your sources.
Yeah, I'd like to know also.
I was wondering if you give them the addresses of all of them.
Well, you can get them. You can look them up. It's not.
Hello, my name is
Secret.
Vince Chincello. I'm just a resident here. I've went to great lengths in my life and my family's life to do many things at zero cost. I'm not looking for him to preserve our history. But when I see gentrification in its fullest embodiment coming to our town and trying to price people out who are doing their very best. No, I don't like to see toilets in people's yard. No one does.
That's what you
It really begins to grate on a nerve as to, as Mr. Sheen said, what are the motivations here and why? And why in particular are you picking on a house that we're doing everything to preserve every bit of history we can and make it as it was, as best that we can. I just don't believe that any of that serves anyone's needs. There's 3 strikes against you. This will immediately increase our taxes. Will it or will it not? I'll answer that. Yes, it will. Will it slow down projects from people who have moved to our area for the freedom which we hold so dear in West Virginia? It's one of the reasons we split off from Virginia to begin with. And then you've got the other folks that just feel just downright like those of us who grew up here were just too silly and small-minded to be able to take our own history, which I've watched our history be preserved by many different people in many ways. I've climbed over every building and underneath every building in this town. I've done much of it for free. I'm not looking for money, nor am I looking for notoriety. I just happen to notice that through all of this, you went and got certified and things. It seems like you're looking to pad your own pocket somewhere down the line. And no one wants to go climbing to someone else. Like, who's that? Oliver. With can I have some more rules, sir? I don't think any of our citizens want that.
Thank you, Vince.
You have anything to say?
Sure. I'm Priscilla Jones, 31 Congress Street. Just wanted to kind of encourage everyone. I did share this with Mr. Bootsy last year, but probably one of the world's best planners and architects came to Berkeley Springs, who's my friend. I worked for him for 5 years, about 10 years. And he said, we spend our whole lives trying to make a place that looks like this and feels like this, and we can never quite do it because this place has grown up organically over hundreds of years, and it is the way it is because of the people who are here. He said, we get paid so much money to try to make towns that feel like this, and they just kind of come off fake. This is the real deal. And the reason is because it has grown up over time and people have invested what they could. We've got a materials shortage and the prices are sky high and the labor is really hard to find. And I am 2 years behind on my project. I'm trying to do it right, and I'm not going to cut the corners. And everyone in here who's invested in properties, there's multiple millions of dollars of properties here in this historic town sitting in these pews. And that needs to be commended, the stuff that we've been able to pull off despite what's going on in the climate. So that's all I have to say about that one. And then on the Travel Berkeley Springs sticker, I had a friend in town and we were kind of bantering about what would be a cool logo. He and I came up with West Virginia Welcome. So I just wanted to submit that, because that's kind of what everyone's
Right.
friendly here, right?
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
we like that slogan. Anyway,
Absolutely.
the end.
Okay. All right. Lydia, you have anything?
I'm just
Okay.
listening.
Yeah. John, do you have anything?
No, sir.
Okay. David, I'll give you 3 minutes to stand up and, if you want to talk to these people. Like I said, it seems like to me, unfortunately, I think this community has come together. They want to preserve the historical part of the town. They want to. I know that these people right here that are doing all this work on Wilk Street. It's like he said, that house could have gone to the ground and we'd had another vacant property, but he came here and they've invested hundreds of thousands of dollars in that property to bring it back to be a standing property. Like I said, it's a great group of people in this community. That's why I stay here. That's why I've been here for 40 some years. I raised 4 kids here. I've got grandchildren here. Like I said, it's a great community. And that's my 2 cents, but you have the floor for 3 minutes.
First, Greg, I commend you for what you're doing. There is no doubt about it. But when it comes to certified local governments, historic preservation, there is a set of rules. There's a definition at the federal government level. That is the point I'm trying to make here. If the town of Bath wants to define historic preservation protection on their own terms, that is fine. But then you're not a certified local government. I don't care what Chippo says. If you go to the National Park Service and talk with them, who administer the program, the grant money goes to communities that follow the guidelines of a certified local government. That is where the rub is. I agree. The property is going to look better when Greg is done. There is no doubt in my mind, but that's not historic preservation. That's the point I'm trying to make here.
How is it not?
Because changing the front elevation by putting those giant dormer windows on it, changing the balcony, all that sort of stuff is a significant change to the front of the building that will have it withdrawn from the list. I don't care if we like that or not. That's just the fact of how SHPO, National Park Service guidelines are run. That is what I'm getting at. If you don't want to follow it, that's fine, but please don't call yourself a certified local government. You can decertify if you're not going to follow the rules. And you will never see me again because I'm here about historic preservation as it relates to the definitions developed by the Department of Interior. That's all I have to say.
Okay. All right. The subject is over with. Okay?
Can I have 5 seconds?
You didn't hit your 3 minutes. Hang tight, David. Yeah.
Just want everyone to know that Sue and I are the new owners of the property at 33 Fairfax Street. Closing will be in about a month.
Points well taken, and we're gonna do the best we can to comply with what we have to comply with. But I'm not gonna ask these people here that are spending money in our community, that have stood up tonight and expect them to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars extra, you know, on putting certain windows in or doing certain things. I understand that,
I
but,
agree.
you know, like I said, I don't think that we're not in compliance. And I will check and I will talk to people and I will come to that realization on my own. If we aren't, we'll figure out how to do what we need to do. But I think these people spoke. I'm the same way. I don't want somebody to tell me how to paint my house, what windows to put in my house, you know, how many times I can open and close my door basically, or whatever. If I want to put a balcony on my house, I'm gonna put a balcony on my house. If I want to put a porch on my house, I'm gonna put a porch on my house.
And the
So-
elevation didn't change by 1 inch. by the way.
But like I said, you know, this is over and done with. And like I said, whatever happens, I'm not involved, you know, like I said, but my piece has been said, okay? Thank you all for coming. Thank you, David, for coming.
Welcome to stay.
All right, let's get on with the meeting.
You're welcome to stay for the rest of the fun meeting. If you want to.
All right. We'll move on to, I don't know what I did with my.
Communications from there.
Yep, communications from there. All right, had a lot happened here, in the last couple of weeks. I know Susan, participated in the legislative visit. I wasn't able to. I had a bunch of stuff going on family-wise and business-wise. So if you just want to kind of bring people up to speed, that would be great.
We were able to host the 10 legislators in the depot on Monday, the 13th. They had a bus tour. Now, they went all over the Eastern Panhandle, so some went to Harper's Ferry, some Berkeley County like that. But we were lucky enough to get 10 legislators who had never been in the depot to show them our work there. They're very pleased and impressed. We put on I think as good a show as we could have put on. Joyce helped me set up. Greg Forney, Beth helped, and like that. So we got it all pulled together. And I think we made an impression. We also did a big display that I sent you all a picture of at Cacaven State Park on that Tuesday evening, the Morgan County Showcase, where we showed the depot, the loop for the rail trail, the Mills Group loop, the rail trail project, and streetscape. So we had kind of a whole corner of the room for the town of Bath. And Greg was there and helped with that. And so it came off well. Then we had dinner with these folks. And it does make a difference to know your legislators and introduce the town to people who have never been here before. You know, this is a long way for some of them to come, some Bluefield and like that, long way. So I think it came off well, and I was happy to do it. It sucked up a lot of my life there for a while, but it was okay. It came and went.
All came out in the wash,
Yes,
so,
it did. It was
okay,
good.
good deal. All right, we have applications for the Christmas parade. They're due 11/25 this year. So if you want to participate in the parade, they're on the website, aren't they?
They're on the website. You can get them here in the office, or you
Pick
can
up an
email
application
Danielle
if
and
you
get them.
Have an organization, or if you want to just walk in the Christmas parade. So anyway, this weekend, Saturday, is Small Business Saturday. Everybody come out, support our local businesses. There's a bunch of them down there. We've got a new restaurant opened up down here. We've got all sorts of stuff in town, and it's normally a busy day for our businesses in this community. So anybody out there listening, Small Business Saturday this week, free parking in town. So come down, enjoy walking through our community, seeing the decorations that have gone up already and more decorations probably to come. And then with the Christmas parade, that evening we'll be lighting the tree and lighting up all the other decorations. So this, are they doing the Cocoa Crawl? Okay.
Yeah. December 2nd.
December 2nd. Okay. Cocoa Crawl. Awesome. It's awesome. I've done it. I did it 2 years and I thought it was really cool. So I brought a group from over in Hancock came over and now they're copying us. So, so I'm like, okay, game on, so, but really cool. A lot of fun going on. A lot of people that were in town, a lot of people talking, into the different businesses, people out congregating outside talking. That's what town's all about. That's what this community's all about. Having talks on the street and being together and that's what this community's all about. That's why I like Berkeley Springs. So anyway, that's Small Business is Saturday, and then Deck the Meters project is, I guess, getting ready to start. So I guess that they'll start decorating this weekend.
Friday.
Okay. So
They do have a couple of meters still available. If you're interested, reach out to the chamber. They'll be able to help you with that.
okay, yeah, reach out to the chamber. They have meters left over, so anybody who wants to get involved, it's not over with yet. So, and we'll go from there. Okay, let's move on down. They have development, as you see in your packet here, they want to bring up a bylaw change. We didn't get it on the agenda in time, so I think that we need to table this to our first meeting in December. Yeah, and there's a quorum.
Yeah, four's.
Oh, okay.
But I don't think that I didn't get to read it and everything, and we don't have it on the agenda. Let's go ahead and put it on the meeting of December, first
I
meeting
would
in December.
point out to you that the two items in question are on page 4, section 1 and section 2, or what is the interest of the change, correct, Chris? I mean, it has to do with the time and place of meetings and what a quorum entails for the group. Those are the only two things, I believe.
Yeah.
And it's
Okay. Well, let's be prepared when we come back next meeting, and council members that aren't here, let's make sure if they're going to be at the next meeting that we get them that information so that they can look at it. Okay. Parks and Recs, I understand that we had somebody that came forward and volunteered for one position.
You weren't here last week.
Yeah.
That was fun.
No, I had a
That was
family
fun.
emergency. I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay.
We've been
So-
waiting for somebody to apply for months. And
Yeah.
3 at one time.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome.
For
So,
one position.
so anyway, we've got that taken care of right now. So that's cool. So hopefully they'll be able to start coming and reporting to us here in the spring when things start moving along. I know there's some stuff I read where they're doing baseball or little league or something, signups or whatever it is. So so hopefully they can come to meetings and give us a report. So anyway, moving down, Planning Commission.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Hey, just held my comments, but notice who's still in the room. Okay, so I applaud you guys. People who care about the town are still in the room because you're willing to listen to me, talk about Cocoa Crawl and everything else. So I applaud you guys being here and being at the forum that the town has where this is supposed to happen, and our leadership for doing that. Hey, several things on my list today, so I'm going to bore you a little bit. Hey, thanks to Susan for putting a good light on the town for that visit. Myself and other members of the Town Planning Commission supported Susan's efforts for that, and a lot of great comments from folks from around the state. And again, wow, what a great town. What a great project are you guys doing. I wish we had something like this. This is echoing everything you just heard. We're on the right track, in my opinion, as the planner. And again, he seemed to focus some negatives on it, but I would tell you the impression of people who don't live here all the time is, wow, this is awesome, and it's going to be even better. So thank you, Susan, for putting that together. Okay, and I had the opportunity to attend the Town Historic Landmark Commission this month. We briefed them on the comprehensive plan assessment status, which every one of you is too sick of hearing from me. But I would tell you, and this goes back to our previous topic, I'm a certified carpenter, former architecture student, and I've lived in and rehabilitated 3 houses that live in historic districts. The good news is I lived in places where nobody told me what to do, and it never risked putting the town in any, or the historic district in any violation. I learned there's difference between rehab and renovate. There's period appropriate. All these are words you have to understand. And again, I've learned more since being here. So some of the comments tonight were really focused on the highest standard of federal this, okay? But you got to read past the bumper sticker. There's a lot, there's a lot of laws. We don't have any shortage of them in America, okay? But towns and municipalities do have a lot of flexibility, okay? So again, I'm trying to stay in my planner lane and what I know we can legally encourage the town to do. And I am not uncomfortable with anything of the status quo on how we're doing it. However, it's funny because that thing isn't due for a couple of years, the new comprehensive plan, but we're looking for ways to not punish or control, but how to incentivize. We've got a long list as we're trying to really steer the town to be volunteers, incentives, these kind of things. How do you get more carrots instead of sticks? So as we move forward, that's a big part of how we see the future of our town is going to be successful, is to get more people, just like tonight, more involved with, doing a little bit. If everybody does a little bit, it's a pretty easy pull. Okay. So other things that the Town Planning Commission is up to, we attend in the BDA to try to make sure we're cross-leveling those things I already talked about. The depot visit that was a hit, and the Historic Landmark Commission. We had several members that also attended the congressional committees, focused on those things that I think have the most impact on our town. A lot of those had to do with healthcare, with Lotus coming in. So we used the committee meetings as an opportunity for the Town Planning Commission members to get smarter about all the factors and the challenges that the state of West Virginia has for not just medical, but mental health, which was a continuous topic. And they did have at least one of the briefs did have a briefer that talked about opiates, et cetera. So, as we're looking at how we work with our new neighbors up there at Lotus, we want to make sure we understood it. So we had folks involved with that. We continue our weekly working group and moving forward. And then lastly, it's a pleasure to be here and to serve, and I appreciate y'all being here.
I have a question. The agenda says that the next meeting is 12/5 at 5. Is it not 12/1 at 5?
What day is
the
Thursday?
first Thursday?
First Thursday.
All first.
December 1st.
It's a first.
It's the
Yeah.
first, so
That's-
Ben changed that. Thank you. Good catch.
Yeah.
I'm glad
Do you
somebody
still
does
want,
that.
do you still want water to come before the commission for that? The water department
Yes, please.
officials?
Thank you, Larry.
Certainly.
Anybody else, any other council members need to? Okay, good deal. Rails and trails,
You have an update in your package. There isn't much going on at the moment, so he just gave us a.
yeah, it's kind of in its transition phases right now. So, I know,
Finalizing the permit. That's all they're
okay.
in the waiting mode.
All right, they'll probably be in as things start to really move forward. I figure probably springtime, things are gonna start moving again with that project. And also with our next subject, streetscapes, I figure that's probably gonna start moving again too. Kind of wintertime, we gotta get a lull where we're planning stages because it's cold out, trying to find out where we're gonna come up with money for our next project or whatever. So anyway, that's where that's at. Train Depot, I'm gonna let Susan talk about that because she's been involved in it.
Oh, yes, oh, yes.
Quick
Well,
question on streetscapes, I'm very sorry. Which is the next street for streetscapes?
I'm not really sure exactly which ones. I think they're going after,
They're going after Independence Street along where Hunter's is.
Hunter's first.
I
think it's
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, the depot was, we're continuing on the progress there. You all can even stop in and have a look if you like. It's a construction site now, but it's coming along. We ran into a snag a couple of weeks ago, and thank goodness we have as our mayor a HVAC gentleman who I called with tears in my eyes. But, you know, we have a new HVAC and it's new from 10 years ago when we put it in. It hasn't been used. So that was one thing we took out of the grant is, well, this is an expense we don't need to do. Well, heck, yeah, we needed to do some things. And so he came in and kind of saved the day on that. And we sure thank you for that. We've got the ceiling up now. We will be putting insulation in the top. We
next
talked
week,
about
they're
that
gonna be
next-
doing blown in insulation next week. I talked to Kevin.
Yeah,
So that's his anticipation. Once that gets done, the heating bill ought to be real good down there because we'll have insulation in the upper part. So,
it'll be,
yep.
yeah, it'll be a lot better. Some good news for the depot also, you know, we have people interested in it and donating and like this, and we have a group of business people who are interested in having an event there when they can, and they're kind of looking at Memorial Day weekend to have a bluegrass festival there and putting that together. So it looks like, you know, we brought it up and we talked to Rebecca McLeod, who is with the Streetscape Committee. She talked to the LRS, which is our license remediation specialist, about if we could have an event, and we were given a green light on a one-day event, like an 8-hour event. So they will be able to put something together and have an event down there. So we're looking forward to that. I'm not sure, you know, any details yet, but it's in the works. Our next owners meeting is set for, and I hope it comes off on November the 30th. This is a meeting where the architect and the engineers and the contractors, and we go over the whole building progress, what we need, and then we come up here and go over the dollars and cents of what we're doing. So it's an exciting project. So you can come down and look in the windows and even go in if the doors are open. They're very nice guys. They like showing off their work. They're real craftsmen. So thank you.
Yeah, Kevin's really good down there. So if you have
He
to
is,
stop
isn't
in there, he's a powerhouse. There's just two of them down there working, and they what they've done in 3 weeks down there has simply amazed me. So anyway, it's moving along, so we're good. All right, let's move to Landmark Commission.
Oh,
Mayor, how we doing tonight?
Oh, well.
Man of the hour.
You say a deer in the headlights.
We'll take care of that deer in
But
the headlights.
I'd like the support that came out tonight. So thank you all.
Yep,
Absolutely. Thank you all.
So we had our meeting on November 17th, and 4 out of the 5 members were present. One of the big things that we had to do was elect officers. So the chair was elected as John Mason, secretary was Joyce Jones, and the treasurer was Ryan Reban for a 2-year term. So we've got that lined up, ready to go. Also at that meeting, as Larry mentioned, he was there and reviewed the 2017 comprehensive plan. And our next meeting will be on January the 12th at 2 p.m. And we schedule that around Zach's time that he's on school break.
Right.
So we'll all get to actually meet him for the first time instead of
On the phone
through the phone.
conversation.
Right, right.
Good.
Yep.
Good.
Yep. Any questions?
Any questions, council?
No.
all I got to say is I'm tickled to death. I'm tickled to death. So you guys just move along and we'll be in good shape.
Okay.
So thank you.
Yep.
All right, let's move down to clerk and recorder's report. Madam Clerk, you have anything?
No, thank you.
Okay.
I'm out.
Good deal. Well, let's go down to finance. Let's pay some bills. Have some fun.
I'd like to present the bills for the town of Bath. Make a motion that we approve $21,975.80.
Second.
We have a motion second on the floor to pay the town of Bath bills in the amount of $21,975.80. Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion passes.
Want to make a motion to pay the Berkeley Springs Waterworks bills in the amount of $49,637.32.
Second.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Have a motion and second on the floor to pay the Berkeley Springs Waterworks bills in the amount of $49,637.32. Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, make a motion that we pay the Train Depot bills in the amount of $2,927.88.
Second.
Have a motion and a second on the floor to pay the Train Depot bills in the amount of $2,927.88. Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.
And I make a motion that we pay the tree board bills in the amount of $3,035.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second on the floor to pay the tree board bills for the amount of $3,035. Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? That motion carries.
Stop. I just want to mention so that people understand, bills that come through for like the Train Depot, or the tree board are actually grant money. We have to pay those bills, but we get them reimbursed back through a grant. So those are grants that our committees have gone out and received for us. So when you see that, it's not a lot of times the town having to pay that bill.
Sharon, the other bills, are they monthly bills? Monthly expenditure for water?
Bi-weekly. But that one the water one has a lot of bonds on there. So once a month, that one would be high because of the bonds
The
that we have to.
second meeting of the month is always going to be our largest because that's when our payments. Municipal bonds. Okay, moving forward, Train Depot, or not Train Depot, but Tree Board, I'm sorry.
That's not here.
That's not here, yep. Okay, we'll get, our next meeting is the 30th at 4.
That time of year anyway.
Right, it's their little time. They just planted a bunch of trees last month anyway. Grant, Beth's not here, and neither is Greg. Public safety.
There was, wow, I'm just speechless here. 38 assists last month, 0 accidents, 4 citations, 5 warnings, paper served 0, alarms served 0, parking tickets 166, and criminal investigation reports 4, 2 felony and 2 misdemeanors. Chief, anything else?
No, we had a discussion this evening about the chief's position, and I'm gonna revisit it after the first of the year. Don't have any, so I'm gonna keep on keeping on. Most people know that, in and out, we have a part-timer on the weekends, still training a new guy, which we got this application into the academy last week. I really don't see us getting into one of the 2 January classes, but still a possibility. Yeah, so basically, a lot of people, some people have my cell phone. It's probably easiest to get hold of me by my cell phone, because I'm always out somewhere. So there's an issue in town or something, and you don't see an officer, you can reach me by cell phone, because that means I'm working for the county and I'm probably close by. So.
Okay. All right, thanks, Chief. Oh, Let's see, cemetery.
Not here.
Yeah, she's not here. Public Works, he's
Not
not
here.
here either. As far as I know, everything's going okay. I know that they're, you know, they've got everything ready for, yeah, I'm not gonna say the word.
Just as a reminder for Public Works, if your pickup is normally on Thursday this week with Thanksgiving, if you could have your trash out on Wednesday. We will pick up anybody on Friday, but we're trying to keep that day a little bit light for the guys to get them out of here also.
So they will pick up tomorrow?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, ordinance.
The ordinance committee will meet before the next meeting on December 6th at 4:30. So nothing else to report
Thanks.
for ordinance.
Thanks. Waterworks.
The water committee met on Monday, November 7th, which is since our last meeting. Several things to report. First, phase 4 of the water line replacement project is ongoing. As of November 7th, we were 38% complete on that project and still on schedule towards completion of the project by February 27th. At this point, they've laid 3,664 feet of 2-inch PVC water line and 5,085 plus feet of 6-inch C909CL 235 line. So there's a lot of line that's been laid. We're still a little bit concerned about supplies. There's 75% of our material has been delivered. The important things, which was the meter lids, have arrived, but we still have some things that the contractors are having to work around a bit. But it's ongoing. They are off this week, not doing any work this week, but they'll be back at it next week. The water line expansion south to Tabor Road, that has been approved for the funding. Nothing further has happened on that to date. There'll likely be at some point, Region 9 will be coordinating a call to set up with the parties plans for moving forward. As we discussed before, the federal EDA grant does not include funding for exploration of a secondary water source for the town and for the Berkeley Springs water system. There was on the agenda for the county commission an item to discuss the county, since the county has a very large stake in the water system as we expand outward from the town, have agreed to go out and get bids for doing some exploratory drilling out at the near the ball fields on 16 acres of property that the county owns. So we'll see what happens with that. If they can find a deep water well out there that could be used, that might be an option for us. But they understand the issue, and they are, trying to help us find some solutions. So that's good. And then, as I think you all saw in the email, we have received a citation from the Department of Environmental Protection. Apparently on October 8th, the Saturday of apple butter, there was a fish kill identified in the Warm Springs Run. Our staff was called in to do testing at 3 different locations, and there was the concern is that would, in terms of our plant, would be residual chlorine from the plant that could cause something like that to happen. They did testing at 3 different spots and did not find any signs of residual chlorine in the run. Nevertheless, the DEP has determined, since there was no other explanation for it, that that's the best one they're going to run with. So there will be some remediation that we have to do in terms of just making sure that how we're operating. One of the things that Ron is looking at is currently we have a permit for our backwash to go into the run. Another option that could get us out of this whole thing in terms of in the future of having anything like this come up is looking at using the sewer lines for the backwash. There's all, in the past, I think there've been cost issues, but Ron wants to explore it and see what we can come to in terms of a solution, maybe with the sewer department. So we'll see. But that's ongoing, and we will have some things that we have to address.
Springs Water Works fault, but you're catching.
Well,
anyway.
there was no
DEP
sign that we
says-
could determine that it was our fault. Now, we did find, in one of the backwash, tanks that one of the sensors had become corroded.
Yeah.
And so there was some more chloration in the chlorine that may have been pumped out
Right.
that may have contributed to it. That's been fixed at this point. So,
Yeah, okay.
but
I think it's
It is.
where we are.
I think it's a good idea to explore about
Right.
maybe, dump it into the sewer itself. So that's a good idea.
Yeah. So, and the next water committee meeting is December 5th, Monday, December 5th at 4:30.
Did you all authorize me to sign the agreement with the funding?
Yep.
Okay, good enough. I just wanted to make sure I meant to call you.
Yep.
I do want to say one thing about the ongoing water line project right now that's going on. I just got hit up by 3 people at Food Line earlier this evening. They want their ground fixed now. And I told them, I said, that's not going to happen until the end of the project. So I want everybody to be aware that even though they're not in that area and maybe haven't worked there for a couple of weeks, it's not that they're not going to come back and fix it. It's going to be fixed. We took video of everything that we have either taken a backhoe to dig up or cut or whatever, and it will be put back in the shape it was or even better condition than what it was. So the people have to work with us because we're working around supply issues where we may get pipe for this area here. So we have to pull off of the area south and go north because we only have so much stuff that's coming in. So they have to work. They can't finish one and move on. The guy told me today, well, you need to finish one section and then move on. Well, unfortunately, our supply chain problem has kind of made it so we have to pick and choose, or the contractor has to pick and choose where he has the most supplies to do the most that he can. Okay.
Yeah.
So I want everybody to be aware, we have not forgot about you. When we're complete and the line is in, is done and put in service, we will be back, and the grass that's been cut, will be totally put back in the shape it was, if not better shape. So anyway, you can spread that around. Just if you hear people talking about it, it's not that we're not doing what we need to do. It's the fact that we are working around supply chain issues. Okay. So anyway, I just wanted to make that announcement. Hopefully people will see this on YouTube and be able to note it. Yes.
So going back to public safety, I don't know if it's town property or if it's country owned property. That metal railing that's right there past their one bridge, I ended up chaining it up a couple months ago to keep the one rail back, but that whole thing is coming out into the sidewalk, and someone's either gonna fall off the ledge there or get.
That's country in. We'll get a hold of them. As a matter of fact, I saw them down there. If it's the one on the other side of the bridge going south, they were down there the other day looking at it.
I know I had chained it up there.
Yeah, they were down. One day last week, I come through town and they were down there, so I think they're going to do something with it.
But maybe you can follow.
But I'll talk to Matt and tell him. Yes, Barb.
I have a couple quick questions. Do we have any idea how many legislators were actually here? I've asked a number of people and I've gotten 15 to 100.
Oh, no. Oh, there are 100 delegates and 34 senators.
And they were all
so
here?
I believe yes, but they weren't all in town. They took buses and went to other parts of Eastern Panhandle also. Okay. So as far as being in town, I don't know I know how many the train depot got. But it's a regular session of of the West Virginia legislature. So those are the members that are called to be there, and their staff and lobbyists and like that. So, you know.
Okay. The other question is on Facebook, and people keep asking me, and I have no clue. Free parking. On Facebook, it said there's free parking on Friday and Saturday.
Ma'am.
I thought we were going to do it till the end of the year.
No,
Just 2 days, that's all we get?
you get free parking on Friday and Saturday. And the meters that are covered, you do not have to pay, but if the meters are uncovered and not decorated, you have to pay parking.
Okay.
That was made very clear.
And your Band-Aid's really distracting.
Sorry, but I'm about to cut my finger off. Do you want me to open it up and let it?
Scott,
Yeah.
for clarity, you have several members of TBS that are present here tonight. And in regards to the logo, there was a process of reviewing the logo. Was the logo not shared with
I've
the
still
town?
not seen it.
I don't know. I have not seen it.
None
I don't
of
know
us
what
have
you all were
even seen
talking
it.
about.
I
at all.
haven't seen it.
We have no idea other
The
than
travel
what I've
Berkeley
seen
Springs
out
one more
and
time.
been told in the public. TBS has not given us any type of logo, new logo.
So you weren't involved in the process at all for the logo design? What about the website design, the
We have
content of the
nothing to
website?
do with TBS.
Okay.
They're their own entity.
Okay,
They
then
got
what,
their own officers and.
They're publicly funded private organizations.
Right, they have
Which is
nothing-
a little bit,
Yeah.
it's odd. They are publicly funded by the
Right.
hotel motel
Right.
tax that the town pays and the county pays,
Right.
and through membership and other things that they do. But, they're a private
Yeah, we
organization.
have no say. They come to us and make a report once a year.
They're required to.
You know, they're required to make a report to us once a year. I've not seen anything anywhere other than what people have told me. I have not seen any new logo. I don't know why we were pressed into this situation of having to get a new logo. If we do a new logo, I want it to be something that represents everybody in the
I
state of
don't
West
think
Virginia.
the town of Bath is doing a new logo. I think it's
No.
a travel Berkeley.
It's Travel Berkeley Springs.
Yeah.
It's
It doesn't have to
TBS.
do with the
Right.
town.
Our logo right here.
Yeah, but like I said, I mean, you know, the thing about it is, I mean, we ought to be brought kind of given or shown what it is so we know. So, but anyway, other than that, any other questions? If not, I will take a, common consent. We're adjourned.
All right, what were you drinking?
No problem. Just so you know, guys, at any point in time, that big stack that she has there is my bill. But basically what I do for them is they get a spreadsheet
I know that one.
that gives them everything that was, where the money was spent, where it was spent. So like Fifth Third is my credit card and who it was, whether it's Tony or whether it's the MasterCard. This was the Freightliner, the guy. So it tells you, but it's usually the second meeting is usually the big bill. But you can see them at any point. If you ever wanted to see anything, all you have to do is you're more than welcome to.
Have you noticed, you know, what you and I just did, right?
No kidding, right?
It's a little right.